Good morning. It's Tuesday, heading into work because I got a call last week from the electrician. We're getting ready to put the power in for our brand new table saw and didn't know where to put it. Had the table saw roughly where we wanted it to be, but it's not exact because it needs the right amount of space around it according to departmental guidelines for school workshops. One of my other staff was already at work, already going into work today to do a study thing, I think, with his year 12s. I'm basically meeting him and the electrician. Well, the electrician was already going to be there, but meeting them both in there to get the saw positioned, just be certain that the power is going to be in the right spot. That's most likely going to be drop power from the ceiling, which means it'll have to have a stationary pole put in. I initially wanted it to be coming up through the floor because it is a suspended concrete slab, but he made a good point. That could be a 500mm slab, so you'd have to have a good core drill to do it. The other thing is it could be a pre-tension slab in that sense, and you don't want to go hitting Rio trying to drill through a slab like that, because if you hit the Rio you can damage the slab. The new table saw has a sliding table for sheet goods on it. The position of that pole is pretty important. When I thought about it afterwards, we're going to have to be putting dust extraction in, which will need to go up towards the ceiling. We could have it running at the same pole, so it's got to come down and underneath the machine anyway. We need a 3-phase line put in because it's a 415 volt 3-phase machine. He'd already put in our bandsaw and disc sander, I believe. They were already placed against the wall near where we needed points, so that was easy enough. It's a beautiful day for it, being out. Actually, be a beautiful day to be doing the yard. I've got my follow-up appointment kept getting moved around by the surgeon. It was actually going to be next week, and then it was being moved later, and then it got moved forward, and then it's on today. I'm going to ask him his advice on what he thinks I can safely be doing, because the last thing I want to do is do something I shouldn't be doing and tear a muscle or tear all of the stitches have dissolved up at the back. It's healing up well. Do internal muscle knitting. Does that happen any faster than your exterior healing? 10 minutes away from work now, 10:15, just after 8:30 now. So here's the table saw. I think we actually need to bring it back a little bit closer to the doorway. It's got to have the outfeed distance. Go and find my diagram. I don't think there's much of an issue with the distance from that side of the room. Good news, it was in the right spot. We just had to, well, my workmate, who's bigger than me, just gave it a nudge to straighten it up, and it's ready to go. We've got more than enough room in feed, we've got more than enough room out feed. The thing we were concerned about was the positioning here. The specs for machines is like 600 behind the machine. This line is actually 1 metre. We've got space to here. There's the cable already pre-run, so you're just going to put a post here next to the light. This is going to come straight down next to that, because this is fixed to allow for your sheets to go through. Actually, that side that slides, the sliding table, saw blades here. It's going to be great. We wired in our bandsaw, so that's ready to go, but we need the company who we buy them off to come in and actually bolt to the floor officially. We're not supposed to be doing that. Once this has got the power in, there's the power box. They'll come in, finish assembling this, do all the tests, and do the running for us. Another thing that they've done for us, full-size compactor storage. This is in our upstairs classrooms. The lasers on the other side of that wall, and the 3D printers. Classroom that side, classroom this side. Just a sliding storage unit here, similar to what we've got in our staff room. Much better than the old cupboards and shelving that we used to have in here. It actually locks, so you go.
still need to do a final install of the tracks, but oh, that's a big deep shelving there. That's one shelf, that's another shelf. I think I've only seen them lockable in doctors' offices and stuff like that. Very nice.
So the visit this morning at school was a lot shorter than expected. The boss was actually there, showing new deputy around, and a friend of hers who was a TAS teacher, so he was showing around our TAS area. The new deputy is actually an ex-teacher from the school. I was just talking to her and she said when she saw the deputy job advertised, it just seemed to call to her. It is a community within the school and extended that is kind of nice to be in. I mean, I've been there a long time. There's a lot of staff who've been there for a long time. There's quite a lot of staff who are ex-students. You really get that feeling like you don't feel like you're just going to work to teach. You feel like you're actually giving something to the community. You're giving the kids and their families a chance at being the best that they can be and going off to do great things. And some of those students see that and say, I really appreciate what my teachers gave me and I want to do the same and give back. And so we do have and have had quite a number of staff who used to be students at the school and they've come back to the school to give back to the school and give back to the community that they've grown up in. And it's one of the reasons why I think it is a really nice school to be in. Geez, that was a very weird tangent to jump off to, just to say it was a short visit at work this morning. One disappointing feature I find for the microphone in the car in particular, even though it will power the phone through the transmitter, like you plug in the cord and keeps your phone charged while it's transmitting and working, it doesn't allow data to go through the cable to the car to let CarPlay work. I've got to decide whether I want to vlog, whether I want to listen to my podcast. I'm now on my way to my appointment with my surgeon to see what he says about my progress. So far, I've reduced the need for painkillers. I'm not off them completely, but the dosage has gone down. My neck is tight around all the muscles that had been cut away and then restitched. So that's the area that needs the physiotherapy. I still have a lot of numbness in this hand. First 3 fingers and a little bit in these ones. The thumb, some up through the hand, and I've got numbness on this side. Just had the appointment with the surgeon. He's happy with the way it's looking. He said the scar's looking really good. Asked about the pain. Like, I don't have pain in my hands. I have numbness and irritation. I'm allowed to do the whippersnipping, the weed whacking, gentle lifting. I told him about lifting Batman, who's about 12 kilos, just under. He said, no, that's okay. I asked him about doing digging in the yard because there's stuff I want to do, and he said no. And he said the main reason is because you don't know what to expect in terms of the resistance when you're doing digging and that sort of stuff. Like, you might push with your feet and go, yep, that's cool. But I can understand then if you try and do the leverage and just say, like, our yard's full of roots. just imagine doing that, pulling up a tree root, or he said I could start doing physio now. I'll see my regular doctor for a referral for that. But he did give me a referral for a follow-up x-ray 6 months after the surgery, which will be mid-January. He did work around levels 5, 6, and 6, 7, grinding the bone out on both sides. I know he talked about 4, 5. He said muscle damage and deficiency, but he said that was also at 5, 6 a little bit. So at the level they were working and the next level up. And he said that looked like damage to the ligaments, because there wasn't much of a ligament there, right in the middle of my neck, that area, 4, 5, 5, 6. And he said, like, they just tried to stitch up some of the muscle to see if it would knit together. Time to head back, I guess. Horrible rainy day today, and it looks like it's going to be this way all day. My wife made a vet appointment for Batman because he's been limping a lot more and favouring his right leg, and the right leg was the one that had the lumps removed last year or earlier this year. Everything's just merged together. I don't know when things were. It could be some of the fact that he's put on that extra weight, but we've got a feeling that we're just worried that something else may have happened. Apparently a lot of tissue that needed to be taken out, and so he's obviously sore there. Sometimes he doesn't want to sort of get up and move. Doesn't always like being touched around it. So we just want to get it checked while I'm off work. Makes it easier. Our regular vet's not there, so we're seeing somebody that he's never seen before. So that'll be an interesting thing as well. We'll see how he behaves. I was kind of hoping I might get to do some of that weed whacking today, since the doctor gave me the okay. And look at the weather. Now he's barely limping. Just got his waddle happening. He's such a good boy.